Okay, hello. Welcome back to FTWMM. Today we're gonna be doing career talk with Auntie Tracey Goh, management consulting. What does a management consultant do?
So, management consultant is actually a very big word. It's actually a what? Hold on a second. Yeah,
I can't see the.
you can see. Yeah, you can see here.
Can you
Yeah.
send me the link?
Yeah, ask teacher. Okay.
Just go to our YouTube channel at FTWMM.
Yeah.
Again, as if they are not
Can you
already.
help him? Yeah. So a management consultant is a broad word. Actually, it's a consultant is an advisor, right? Advisor to management, right? Management of companies, helping companies solve problems, business problems, on how they can actually improve their business performance. So it's basically like a problem solver. So if you call me management consultant, it sounds like a very big word, but it's a catch-all. It means that you are coming in to help solve the problems for a company, right? But why you ask yourself why a company cannot solve their own problems, right? Sometimes it is very hard to solve a problem when you do the same thing day in, day out, day in, day out. You are always focused on doing the business. You don't see the big picture, and also you don't know what other people are doing. You know what other companies are doing. So management consultants, especially the big firms, right? Now everybody calls themselves a consultant. A consultant is a word that is used to say that you're an advisor. But really, as a management consultant, and you're talking about the big companies, the big management consulting firms like McKinsey, Boston Consulting, Bain and Company. My company was A.T. Kearney, and then you have Booz Allen, Accenture. They are the traditional, like global management consulting firms which have offices around the world, right? So I give you a very broad definition of management consulting. That is, you're basically a problem solver, and you're basically engaged by the companies, come in to help them see where the problems are. Normally, the problems will affect their profit, their operations, or even their employees, right? So they get these management consultants to come and spend some time in their company, look at the problems, and then also come up with solutions. Okay. But there are many different. No, I hope you understand. Just broadly what it is. You feel free to stop me if I try not to use any jargon. So, it is. If somebody asks you, is your ambition to become a management consultant? I would say that that shouldn't be your ambition, because I think the problem solving skills are very important in every job, right? Not just a management consultant's job, but every job, maybe your dad's job, mom's job, you need problem solving skills. But the management consultant, I would say that it's, those days I didn't even know what a management consultant does. Right? I actually started off as an engineer, so I told your dad that perhaps I can share a bit about what I studied before. Right? Are you interested to know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you understand why the skills that I had from what I studied was very valuable in management consulting. Yeah. Any questions?
What companies have you worked with?
Okay, so I started off in an engineering company. So Auntie Tracey was trained as an engineer, right? That was my first job. And that time I was very blur. I didn't know what I wanted to do. There was no career counseling or talks like these to give you a big idea. Or there was no YouTube. There was no internet. So you only know, the certain careers that you want to go into. So by chance, I said, I'm not sure what I want to do. And I thought that to be safe always, if you're not sure what you want to do, is study something that has to do with numbers, right? Science and math, course would always be the safe thing because math is used in everything, right? Analytical skills are very important. So you know what's analytical?
Numbers.
Yeah, so basically analytical is you can analyze. It comes from the word analyze. You can analyze numbers, you can analyze data, right? So I think that for me is a very important skill to have. Analytical skills and problem solving skills, all children should have it because that is what you need to do in all your jobs. Your jobs and even more today with so much data, so much information online. You need to be able to take all that numbers and all that information and look at them, analyze them, and make sense of it and see whether you can understand what are the trends or the graphs. What does it tell you, from all the numbers that you get. So analytical skills are very important. And so if you're not sure what to do, you're not sure of what you want to do or anything, I think there's a very important skill that you need to pick up is to be able to analyze data and information, right? And all this data information, you will need maths, programming. So I think you guys are very good at programming. So you're basically on track. But then make sure you also know how your maths is strong, right? So Auntie Tracy wasn't sure what she wants to do. At one moment I wanted to be an accountant. At one moment I want to be a doctor. Then I saw a doctor's life is alamak, I can't deal with death or sick people, all that. It makes me very depressed. So I said I don't want to be a doctor anymore. Then I said I want to be an accountant, but I don't know what an accountant actually does. But I think you guys know, right? Because you interviewed an accountant yesterday, or is it tomorrow? Okay.
I don't remember. I don't remember.
Yeah. So anyway, I wasn't sure. So the best thing for me at that point when I was 17 years old, I decided I'll do engineering because it's the safest, right? If I did engineering, I can always go into science, right? Engineering, I can become an engineer, or I can also go into business because I know numbers, right? Or I can go into basically anything, or management consulting, right? Because at the end of the day, a management consultant, all they do is look at information, data from the companies that engage them. All right. At any point in time, if you're not clear about what I say, ask questions. Any questions so far?
No, we're quite good.
Yeah.
How long did you stay as an engineer?
Okay, so I studied as an engineer for 5 years. All right, I did my undergraduate degree, and then I said I'm not ready to go out to work yet because I felt like I knew so little about I felt I knew so little and I was afraid of going out to work. So I got a scholarship to continue studying engineering. So I did my PhD in engineering. So I was very lucky. I got a scholarship. So I continued studying engineering for another 3 years. So I did 5 years of engineering. Then I still wanted to go into, business, because I felt business is where all the excitement is. You know, going to the banks, going to I love solving problems every day in the corporate world. So, but after 5 years, I decided that it was hard for me to find a job back then. So I said, since I studied so many years of engineering, I will work as an engineer I was offered a job, and I went to work as an engineer for actually only 1 year. Right? I didn't stay very long because I didn't really like the job. But if you want to know what I did, I can share with you. So, Auntie Tracey's research was in electrical engineering, but I specialize in telecommunications, mobile phones, right? All of that. And I was later hired into a company that is very specific. They actually they want engineers coming to design switches for the mobile phone antenna. Every mobile phone has an antenna,
Yep.
right? Antenna to receive the signal and to send the signal, right? You can't see the antenna now. The antenna is inside the phone, and that's how you can receive calls and make a phone call. If you don't have an antenna inside there, you cannot receive signals. You cannot receive data. Okay, so in that phone, there's a switch. The switch in the antenna because there are different frequencies. Sometimes you call this person, you go to one frequency. You come and call another person, you go to a different frequency, right? So I designed a tiny switch that will kind of, switch from one frequency to another. So when I say switch, it's not like tekan lampu on off lah. It's a tiny circuit, so tiny that you can only see it under the microscope.
Wow.
Yeah, it's very small.
How did you make it if it was so small?
Yeah, so that is a very long, if I go into that, it's quite long, but I'll explain to you. So we design everything on a computer. So you have like all these computer-aided design programs. You design your circuit, then you say, I want to put a transistor here, I want to do this, the wire here, this and that. So it's you design, when you design already, then you test it and you say, okay, it works. And then you will take that, right, like a map, or a pattern, then they will shrink it so small, right? And they put it into a like a special, say machine lah. Then what they do is, so it all gets very complicated. A wafer?
No.
They call it a wafer. Okay, there's like one semiconductor wafer, and then they will sort of shine light onto it, the pattern, and the pattern will kind of appear. So all this is done with very high-tech machine, right? I don't do it. I don't do so you'll shine onto that wafer, and then from there you can cut it out into small pieces and put it down into little chip. So those little chips that you sometimes see on your computer. You open your computer, those black chips with many legs. They're called ICUs. So they are like black chips, and then it's got many legs on it. Inside each of it, there are thousands of circuits actually. You have to there, that black one. Yes,
Where?
that black chip. That's a ICU.
The ones like the needles poking out.
Yes. So they've got all the legs at the side. Inside there are lots of circuits.
The needle?
The needles are where the electricity or the current goes in, but the actual circuit is inside that black casing. You can't see it. You have to open it up. Yeah. So
See it better.
yeah, all those things are done inside. Yes. So all those things are done in a very high-tech lab, right? Because the circuits are so small, even one little speck of dust falls onto the circuit, there'll be a short circuit.
Whoa.
falls onto the wire, there'll be short circuit because the circuits are all so tiny. So when we do that, I have to wear like a hazmat suit and go into a clean room where every cubic meter probably has sometimes 100 dust particles. That's why they call it a clean room, right? And you go in there and you do your circuits so that no dust will fall onto it and cause damage to the wires, right? So that is my engineering experience. I was a product development engineer. A product development engineer is someone who designs new products, who invents new things, right? We make new things for the mobile phone. So I do all those things and we sell them to mobile phone companies, and then they put it inside the mobile phone, right?
Did you sell it to Apple?
Huh?
Did you sell it to Apple?
At that time, there was no Apple phone yet. It was such a long time ago. There was no Apple phone. Apple only made computers. I sold it to Ericsson. It's a phone company that no longer exists. I think Ericsson, Nokia.
Oh, Nokia.
Yeah, they're all very old companies, old phone companies.
Nokia.
Those days there was no Samsung, there was no Apple, you know. So it was a long time ago when Auntie Tracey was an engineer.
Wait. I will find this at the Ericsson was behind.
Where'd it go? Where is it?
We're on a treasure hunt now. I will find it later. It's fine.
I'll find it. No worries.
Okay. So I'm presuming the thing that made the machinery that made the small switches, like a 3D printer, right? It'll like place together the parts. It'll like take the parts, place the parts together, glue it all, solder it all. Like, is it like that?
Sorry, the 3D printer?
Is it like a sorry, not 3D printer? Is it like a huge machine with these like tiny microscopic like fingers, which it like picks up the parts and then solders it into place or something like that?
Oh, to make the circuit?
Yeah.
Yeah, they will have something like that, very high precision arms. Yeah, because everything has to be done in precision, right? Yeah, but Auntie Tracey didn't like the job as an engineer because I found that I needed more action. So when I decided that I need to go back into corporate world because I wanted things to be a bit more fast paced, and that's when I joined management consulting. Right, so I applied.
Behind the shoebox. Okay.
So when I came back to Malaysia, that time I was working as an engineer. I was working in England, and I came back to Malaysia. I said, okay, I will apply to become a management consultant. To become a management consultant, there actually isn't like a degree that you need to study to go and become a management consultant, right? So I can tell you about what they look for when they hire people into management consulting. They like to hire people who have a very high numeracy kind of degree, right? Or analytical degree. So that would be if you're doing physics or you're doing maths or you're doing engineering, they like that because they know you are comfortable dealing with numbers and data.
It's that's good.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah?
Sorry, my brother's still trying to find the Ericsson phone. Hold on.
Any other question? Yeah. So
how many interviews did you have to go through?
I had to go through quite a lot of interviews. It all depends on the firm. So but management consulting is one that they will give you a test as well. because they want to make sure that you have good problem-solving skills. You can solve problems in a short time, right? So they give you very like.
Fine, it's okay. It's okay, don't get it. Wait. Go. Okay. Yeah, continue.
Yeah, so they will give you a test that you probably have to do in 1 hour. And inside the test, the questions are like IQ questions, right? They'll tell you, okay, if we have, for example, in this area, okay, in this little town, there are how many people living in it? There's a population of 1,000 people. And if you are a petrol company, how many gas stations would you open in that town? So something very ambiguous like that. And you have to think about what questions to ask, what information, little information you have, how do you come up with an estimation of how many gas stations you want to open? Do you understand? So it's a bit, you have to be able to deal with very little data and also ask the right questions and also get the right data to be able to solve your problems. So I had to do a test. Maybe after the test, then you have to do a few interviews, right? And then once you go through a few interviews already, then you probably get the job. But I was also a management consultant in one company, and that one was dealing with more with people. So they wanted, that was more headhunting, so recruitment, right? So I had to, they call themselves management consultants because we had to advise CEOs of the company, directors of the company on people problems, employee problems. Okay. So that company, I had 45 interviews before I actually got the job.
What?
45 interviews.
30.
Yeah. So that I had 45. I met 45 people. And it was a very strange firm. I had to be flown to many countries. So I was in Indonesia, I was in Hong Kong, Singapore. I was interviewed in Singapore, Hong Kong, Indonesia, Malaysia, UK, Amsterdam, France, Switzerland,
Everywhere.
Germany. Yeah, before I actually got the job. And then finally, I had to meet the founder of the company. It's an old man who's 80 years old. So you have to pass all the interviews before you get the job.
Interesting. Okay. If you were not a consultant, what would you be? Example, an artist or, stuff like that.
Yeah, actually, if I think back, right, I like management consulting because I like to help people. I like to help people solve problems. But I realized that at the end of the day, now that I'm older, I actually like art. I like art subjects more. Like I actually like art, but I cannot draw. I like art history. I like psychology, right?
Mm-hmm.
I like philosophy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so I'm. Oh, and now I like music as well. So maybe I wish I was more talented. I would want to be a pianist, a musician.
I mean, you can learn it from Simply Piano.
It's like 500 ringgit a month.
Simply Piano.
I can play the piano. But I want to play it well.
Ask your daughter.
Yeah. Your daughters are like a boss. Your son too. Okay. Why do you like art, history, art, psychology? Why do you like all that stuff?
I think it's interesting because, when philosophy, art, all that, it actually helps you understand people better, right? It's you understand the culture better. A lot of emotions. You learn. You're more in touch with the human side of things. Simply put it, right? Where science and technology, sometimes it does get a bit too.
Stop it.
Yeah, I don't know. Music and art gives me a lot of emotions. So that's why I like those subjects a lot more.
Interesting. Or minding on me. Okay.
Yeah. So you have any more questions on management consulting? I mean, I don't know whether you understand enough about it.
So basically, management consulting is like you're there like a problem solver. You come there, for example, the company you're helping is like, oh, we don't know how to distribute the workers, for example. So then you like that.
Yeah. So I'll give you an example, right? And you have to go into the company. You don't know the company, and you have very little time to work for the company. All right. You only have a project, say sometimes 3 months, and then 6 months, sometimes 1 year. But most of the time, it's a 3-month project, and they say, you come in for 3 months. Can you help us find out what this problem is in this department? We are losing a lot of money here, right? Most of the time, it's because of money, right? We are losing money in this business, and then we will come in and we say, okay, this business, why are you losing money? Maybe you're buying things you're paying too much, right, for these items. And we will help them we will look at how much they're paying for all their costs of goods. And you understand the word cost of goods. And if you pay a lot for your raw material, then your profit will be small. Your profit margin will be very small. So you want to reduce your cost of goods and you want to increase your sale price. Then your profit will be much higher. So we basically come in to see how we can reduce their costs and increase their sales. So that's basically essentially what a management consultant does. So you come in, you look at it and say, I think you're spending too much money buying from these suppliers. You should change your suppliers. So I'll give you an interesting project that we did. Okay, so there's this airline company, right? They call us in, and they said that we want to see how to increase our profit. Okay, and we're spending too much money on fuel. So we came in to the airline company. We said that you shouldn't increase the sale of your flight tickets. Yeah. And we said that, I think there should be some ways for you to reduce the big costs for planes are actually fuel, isn't it? So we advised them, perhaps you should look at ways of buying fuel cheap, for example, right? And then we see how much fuel where they're buying their fuel from, right? And then we say, okay, this supplier is selling at a cheaper price, so we tell them to change the suppliers. Secondly, we see how come some of the planes use up so much fuel. So we look at the planes and we say, okay, these planes probably are very old already. They're not serviced properly. You need to look at servicing it properly. And then we go into the part where we look at how much unnecessary things they are carrying. Because the more load you're carrying, you use up a lot of fuel when you're flying like 20,000 kilometers. Okay, so we look at all the magazines that they are carrying. and we tell them don't carry all these unnecessary magazines that you put in. Use plastic cutlery. Don't use metal cutlery. It's adding to the weight, right? So it's the small things that you feel doesn't matter actually can save them a lot of money when you think about how many flights they have and how many thousands of kilometers. So whenever you have all these, books, magazines, heavy cutlery, unnecessary baggage, that you're carrying, it actually adds on. The plane actually has to consume more fuel, and then the airlines will suffer because they have to pay more for their fuel. So we're helping them see where they can cut costs and reduce their fuel. I mean, you save on fuel, you save money, and you increase your profits. So that's an example. So the consultants will come in and, because we have best practices, we know what other companies are doing, we can advise the company, say, hey, this is what other airlines are doing. For example, you tell Malaysia Airlines, you say, hey, Cathay Pacific, this is what they are doing. So we say, we need to change your system, we need to change your process, we need to help you do things better so that you can improve on your service, you can improve on your operations, you can have less breakdown, because every time when the plane can't fly, the things are breaking down here and there, then the flights are delayed. It's money to the company. So the management consultant will come in to help the company turn around, fix their problems, and then make money again. Okay? So we come in as problem solvers and advisors. Does this sound interesting to you? No? But there are other things also you can do. Sometimes you come in for computer companies, or sometimes, like I work for airline company, then after that I advise a bank, then I advise a phone company. I was also doing an interesting project on for Nissan, the car company. So they engaged us and they said, look, we want to see whether you can make money from having modified cars. We're thinking of starting a modified, selling cars which are, very modified, right? So we want to know how much money people spend on modifying their cars. So they want us to do, before they want to start a new strategy, they engage consultants to do a study for them. So I went around, I interviewed all the different car companies at Proton, I went to Mercedes, then I went to BMW, and then I have to go under and do studies and interviews and questionnaires and find out from the customers, how much money they spend.
Auntie Tracy, would you mind repeating that? Your screen's frozen. She's gonna sneeze. Mayday. 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 Red lights. Red lights. No. Oh, okay, good. Okay. We're good. Can you put your one up? Yeah. Okay.
Hello.
Hello. Your internet wasn't the
died.
best.
It just spiked up and died.
Yeah.
Oh no! What's happening again? No.
Okay. Are your children watching YouTube or something?
It's happening again. Okay.
It happened again though.
I know it's so. I'm not gonna.
You're you come into the view, you're very adamant and lifelike, and then you just freeze. Uh-oh. I'm pretty sure it happened again. Mayday, her internet's not the best.
No.
Can I go and continue drawing now? See? So so you'll become normal. Maybe go closer to the router.
Oh God.
Uh-oh.
Computer.
No.
No. No. It's This can't end like this.
Oh,
This
oh,
will not
oh,
end like
no.
this.
What's happening to her? Ah! Mayday! 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 Help! She disconnected! Ah!
All right, some technical issues right here.
Do 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 do
Aunt-
do 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 do.
Auntie Tracey may have accidentally quit the computer.
I think her internet was kind of not the best, so she had to leave. But her internet was like, nope, you're gonna leave without you knowing. Yes, good call, internet.
So right now we have technical difficulties right now. So
Haha, it's okay on the screen. Yeah, it's a little bit delayed.
no, the delay is normal.
Yeah, the
Oh god.
YouTube stream is a little bit.
No, wait, it's just for us a minute.
delayed.
But that was fine.
Huh?
No, the delay is like because it has to go through our one, go through Lily's computer and then out through the other end.
That makes sense. Of course it makes sense because I'm the smart person in the whole thing.
All right, so we have some technical.
Okay, let's just introduce the next person. So tomorrow, at the same time, 8:30 p.m., right?
Yes, PM.
8:30 p.m.
It was AM.
8:30 p.m. Malaysia time, we're going to have Aunt Anshu, who's an accountant, which is tomorrow's speaker. So if you would like to see that video, which is going to be tomorrow, 8:30 p.m., I know I'm reading it. ASMR. Please do go and check out FTWMM. Subscribe because it really helps us a lot and it helps us make these great educational videos on careers. And yeah.
We have some technical difficulties,
Yeah,
by the way.
She got disconnected.
She got disconnected, so everyone's dead on the inside, and everyone's happy. I'm kidding. We're not happy. We're panicking. We're panicking.
We are calling Auntie Tracey. Good. They're calling her. They're checking that she's all right. Whether her dog broke her up. Slit salam ada tak? Join alami. Join. Okay. What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? What? What? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, the thing's having a stroke. Cancel. What do we do? What do we do? Auntie Trish's not gonna be back in a minute.
Hello.
Hi.
Okay.
Hi, sorry, I lost you.
It's okay. Can you sit next to the router, like
Please.
right in front of it?
Like,
I'm okay, hold on,
Oh, you're in the kitchen.
Yeah, hold on.
Can recognize it. Uh-oh, I think she's gonna disconnect again.
ah.
You know?
Yep.
SOS.
Okay,
SOS.
okay,
Oh,
okay,
the
okay.
quality's kind of bad, but it's fine. Okay.
She's back. Don't worry. We're all good.
Yeah, she's back from the Tartarus. How long? No.
What is the most satisfying or happiest project in the
analytical management? Why is it so? Someone in the chat.
Which was my happiest project?
Yeah, and satisfying.
Satisfying. Happy or satisfying?
Oh, I think it was my last project. That's a very good question. It was my last project. before I decided to leave management consulting, I was working in a shipyard, right? And our job there was there were a lot of issues in the ship, a lot of money in every, they built ships, right? And these are not just ordinary ships, they were FPSOs,
Uh-oh. Auntie Tracy.
oil refineries. So
After Tracy. After Auntie Tracy.
where right, they process it. This company made those built those ships, and they were every time they sorry, every time they build a ship, they think they're gonna make money, but then they end up losing a lot of money because when they bid for the ship, then the company, the client will say, okay, you get the job. This ship will cost, say, 10 million. We'll pay you 10 million. But when they are building the ship, then suddenly the cost increases. Then it becomes 13 million, for example. Then, of course, the client will say, look, I'm still paying 10 million. That is what we agreed on. So, but you still have to deliver me the ship. So the company then loses money, then he will have to lose 3 million on the ship. So there's a problem that they face every time. They feel they're going to make money, then they end up losing money on when those ships. So we came in, we are spending 3 months to understand the problem are, and we then the problem was in few areas. One of them was procurement. Procurement is that's used for buying material. You know, procurement. You're buying material when you're running or you're making something. You need material. The department which focuses on buying the raw materials for the goods, right? And we realize that they are buying things at such high price. So our job was to come in and help them with the price, negotiate with them, negotiate with the supplier to lower the price. Another problem they was project management. So that were not communicating properly when a project team manager would didn't have a very good system of communicating on time, so that budgeting issues, they didn't even in the cost. So, so we came up with system for the system so we don't get to record down all the things they have they are using, and don't forget to put down whatever lines and whatever communication that comes from the client, they record it down, and the project management. A lot of things all about making sure things run smoothly, there's some processes, you have to do things, A must go to B, B must go to C. If there's a process, then everything is really messy, right? This person's doing this person's doing another thing, and nobody's talking together. I thought you're doing this, I thought you're doing that, and so we need to make things all time. So we create a system, design a system, process, and then they will say, okay, we know that you have to do this step, this step. So there is a methodology. Right? So I think, and they want us to design it. Most of the time, you design it for your clients, but you don't get to implement it. What do you mean by implementing? When you design something, you need to help the client make sure that he knows how to use your solution. Even all these solutions, you write it them, this is your manual. Just follow it. Okay? And I don't understand. I'm not sure how to do it. So the implementation, then they will say, this is just one guy. Right? All the solutions are useless, they don't work. So this was my implementation phase. So as we come up with the strategy that we want, and then two, and um, which is costly and it's very, but we told that it is necessary because we want to make sure that we stay around and hold the hand of the client, we hold their hands and we teach them, we make sure they understand what we advise do. We work with them. If it doesn't work, we correct it again. We say, okay, maybe it doesn't work. So that's implementation. And then I realized that I really enjoy it, when you see that things improve, you can see things improving, you can see people are happier, people appreciate what you have, the solutions you gave them, they believe in it. And I think that is very satisfying because you are actually helping your clients relieve their problems, right? And then I realized that I want to do this all the time. I want to do presentation, right? Because I don't believe in giving and slides and graphs and say, this is something, this is all the prescription. Yeah, take it. We're done. Bye-bye. And you don't know whether the client appreciates it, understands it, or wants to follow it. So in the end, it's just a whole book or records or reports. So I then decided to look around for a company that is big enough that will require an internal management consultant. That means a consultant that is within the company. So I worked with a big conglomerate called Sangabi. I joined them because they have many businesses. They have, they have a plantation, oil palm plantation. They have a hospital. They sell cars. They sell tractors. They build houses. So there, for me, it's so interesting and exciting because every business that is different have different business problems. So I became their internal management consultant. So I would go into the hospital. I would say, okay, what are the problems with the nurses? Do we have problems with hiring nurses, training nurses? Okay, better nurses. So I'll come in and then crack my head. Okay, where are the problems? How do we solve the problems of them? Or I will go into the plantation company and I say, the oil palm estates are having problems right now. The workers, we can't find enough workers, or we can't sell our oil, our palm oil, right? We don't know, how do we make more profit from selling our palm oil? Can we, make, sell cooking oil or, do other things with our palm oil instead of just selling it to companies, and companies are making money, right? They are the ones processing the cooking oil. So, you come in and you help, or you go into I advise the property division and I say, okay, how can you create nicer homes, better homes for your customers, right? And so we had to brainstorm ideas, how we come up with fancy homes, more innovation, and sell better homes and compete with our competitors. Yeah.
Do you have like any short last words because our father has something else on soon? So I want can you give us like short last words, please? Then we'll wrap it up.
Yeah. So short last words is, I think management consulting is actually a very I think it's a job that you should, if you can get a chance to work at it, work as one. It is very exciting and it gives you very good training, right? To go into other jobs if you want to go into management, right? So management consulting, yeah, the problem solving skills and the analytical skills are very, very important. You should, every student, every child should work on getting these skills. And if you're not sure what you need, there's no in those So problem solving, critical thinking, and physical numbers. That you will see us on that because it can take you many different roles and you can all need that. Those are my last words. What's your advice?
Alright, thank you all for watching. We're coming on minor technical difficulty in the video. In the YouTube, we are not in the video, but in our Skype, we are in the video. So we don't really know what's happening. So you might have only seen Auntie Trici's face. So please know that we did not purposely do it. Okay. Tomorrow we're gonna have Aunt Andrew, who is an accountant. We're going to interview her at 8:30 p.m. at FTWMM Malaysia time. So if you like what you're seeing, please like, share, subscribe because it really helps out a ton and we can make more videos. Yes. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Woo!